Hello everybody. Welcome to TMI Live number 18, a special bonus edition. I'm not even supposed to be here, man. Clerks edition. Because I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. I was supposed to be helping my in-laws move, but I did that this morning. So I'm in here tonight, continuing my inventory of the library of Eric McLuhan, and I'm glad to be here because this Saturday, May 18th, is going to be the anniversary of his death last year while we were in Colombia together. So I'm extra glad to be in the library tonight. A couple of things to get in the way. Since I'm here, I'll announce that we have a winner of this stack of books, which I was auctioning off on behalf of our local public library, the Picton Library Expansion. They're trying to raise $2 million and are darn close to it to do some really cool upgrades to the library. And I love the library and I wanted to support them. So I donated these books to their auction and nobody bid on them, to my horror. So I thought I'd offer them to you guys and see if anybody would bid on them. And I'm happy to report that 3 people did. Tyler, Jeff, and Jim. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. We have a winner, and that is Jim, aka many AKAs, but Jim, thank you so much. We'll talk and get them to you. And I really appreciate the other guys because although you didn't bid a lot, you bid what you could. Oh, you know what? I'm forgetting somebody, and I'm sorry. I'll get to you too. But because I'm really grateful that you did that, I'm sending everybody something from here, from the McLuhan Institute, to you because I appreciate you. So thank you, and send me your mailing address. Tyler, I have yours. Jeff, I have yours too, but let's just make sure. And also want to thank my friend Ree, who's probably not watching, but Ree Neal of Carbon Art and Design in Picton, who's helped me with website stuff, showed me a few of the ins and outs of WordPress and Wix, and hopefully very soon, maybe this week, I'll be adding a couple things myself to the website, including a special section where I can post things like some documents. If you follow the McLuhan Institute on Twitter, and I hope you do, and if you don't, you're missing out. I've been going through this really cool address and question and answer from 1970 called Education in the Electronic Age. It was an address Marshall McLuhan gave to an Ontario Provincial Committee of Education of this or that. And it's gold. There's some really good stuff in there. I've kind of been browsing our 1970 file, which is about this thick and has a lot of juicy tidbits. But this little thing in particular has a lot of really neat stuff. And I've been tweeting out some tidbits, but I'm going to see if I can scan and upload onto the McLuhaninstitute.com the entire thing, so you and anybody else can check it out, because I'm not sure it's widely available or available period, and it should be because it's a cool thing. So thank you for being here. The other thing is that as far as the inventory goes, I'm almost done the dictionaries, or at least this part of them, this reference section, and about to move on to a whole new shelf, which brings me one shelf away from our big McLuhan section, which is probably going to take whatever time, a long time. So I'm really excited to be moving on to that, and I'll definitely be on to that before the night is through. So thanks for being here. Welcome. And let's look at some books here. So in case this is somehow the first time you've seen me do this, in brief, what I'm doing is making an inventory of the late Eric McLuhan's library. It's about 6,000 volumes, and I'm making a note of the basic bibliographic data, the title, author, publishing date, condition of the book. And I'm also making a note of whether there are annotations, to what degree, and what sort of annotations they are. And the purpose of that is to create a sort of finding aid for the library, much as the same thing I did with Marshall's books, but a little more enhanced. That will let me or anybody else sort of browse the library without having to be in the library, which has turned out to be really helpful for Marshall's books, and I imagine will be the same for Eric's. So, and apologies, Mr. Silberman, for staring at the back of my head. Turn away if you have to. But that's just the way this is set up. This is a dictionary of classical antiquities. I'm just going to do a couple of books here before I sign off with you. Mythology, religion, literature, and art. From the German of Dr. Oscar Seifert. We'll just go ... I'm kind of cutting a few little corners. The idea is to give a good level of data while not necessarily going too far. When I've encountered a set of books that's like 6 volumes and there aren't really any annotations in it, I'm just giving the title of the books volumes 1 through 6, because time is a little bit of the essence here. This is a publisher I'm not familiar with, London, William Glacier Limited. Glaisher Ltd. With more than 450 illustrations. When is this from? I hate it when they don't give you a date. That is so annoying. What do you do with that? Well, the introduction's dated 1891, and this doesn't look to be a reissue, so let's go with 1891. And maybe Joshua, if you're watching, you can correct me on that. This does have some annotations in it. They are Eric's Cognatio, and some 8th, 4th BC notations. So I look to the end papers for annotations, and then I flip through. Wow, there are some pretty funky illustrations. I flip through the book for marginalia, or margin notations. This is really cool, and I wish I had time to go through it. And then I just sort of, sometimes there are pages included. This looks like cut pages, which is kind of cool. Anyway, there don't appear to be any. Oh wait, so here's some underlining and some margin notes, 278, and that's not even referenced here. Anyway, oh, dusty old books. We'll make a note that there are some annotations to do with 8th BC, 4th BC. I'm trying to give myself enough to go on so that if I want to come back to the books and find out anything about them after I'm not necessarily in the library anymore, I can get enough information to go on. I can tell some things, like by Dad's writing. Dad always had really neat writing. We're talking about Eric McLuhan here. But this is older writing of his anyway. Moving on. I think we got time for 1 or 2 more. The Complete Dictionary of Abbreviations. That's kind of funny. that title should be abbreviated, right? Dad also passed on to me a love for collecting reference books. I have quite a few. Robert J. Schwartz. I came up with the idea today of doing my next little essay or blog post on medium.com on common McLuhan terms like medium, figure ground, hot and cool, center and margin, all those sorts of things. There isn't really a reference work for that, and there should be. So I'm going to put that on my list of things to do. That might be useful. Eric Thomas Y. Crowell Company. Do you think that would be helpful? I think so. I'll check the comments later. MGMT Management. Oh, Dad made an addition because that's not in here. Good band too. So there. This is the sort of boring but exciting part of the job, because you never know what you're going to come across, even in the most innocuous looking book. You sometimes find a mystery, like a little bit earlier tonight I was looking at a book of a dictionary of sailing, and it was from 1969, but there was a clipped review from 1961 of another book clipped inside it, which was kind of bizarre. Little mysteries, like what is that about? The slang thesaurus, I like that. Again, this is the bonus edition because I said there wasn't going to be an inventory tonight, but I am very happy to be here. Jonathan Green. Hardcover, good. And thank you for being here or for tuning in after the fact on the McLuhan Institute's YouTube page, which has the last 17, now 18 episodes of this crazy book inventory podcast broadcast thing. What even is it? Is it a podcast? I'm trying to figure that out. I don't even know what a podcast is anymore. I joke that it's got to be the most boring live broadcast on the internet, but there's got to be more boring than this. And I know this is not boring to some people. For me, this is kind of just a record of what I'm doing. And if you want to tune in and watch it, that's great. And if nobody does, that's kind of fine too. But all told, it's got to be approaching 4 hours of content now, and that's pretty neat. Let's see a random slang word. Drugs, selling. Anyway, I'm trying to cook along here because, as I said, I'm trying to get done with the reference books tonight for G. Illustrated Dictionary of Greek and Roman Mythology by Michael Stapleton. It's hardcover. It's in good condition. I also really enjoy coming across publishers I'd never heard of. New York, Peter Bedrick. also really enjoy colophons. Is that just me? Maybe it is. 1978. And this one has Dad's name in it, which is always helpful. T. McLuhan, 3 June 86, Toronto. A very helpful habit of Eric McLuhan's was also a habit of Marshall's. I do it, or used to do it when I bought books. I use my library heavily, hence why I support them so much. Although they're not going to be able to help me in a lot of ways anymore since the interlibrary loan service just got axed, which really sucks, and I let my local MPP know how much that sucks. So Dad signed this T.E. Thomas Eric McLuhan, 3rd of June 1986, Toronto. That just struck me because Dad's full name is Thomas Eric Marshall McLuhan, and he never adds the initial for Marshall. That's kind of odd. I never picked up on that before. I'm going to have to check and make sure that that is his middle name, but I'm pretty sure it is. That's weird. Right. Anyway, on that weird note, I'll thank you for being here as always, supporting the McLuhan Institute. I really appreciate it, and good night.